Good morning. Welcome to the Rangers Roost. My name is Tennyson E. Stead. I am the creator of Jump Rangers, and this is a Monday morning stream where we sit down and we talk about what's going on in life, what's going on in geek culture, basically anything that's relevant to screenwriting and game development. We're going to talk about. And Ippy Looney's here, giving high fives and hand signals. Um, Today we're going to talk about something that's been coming up. I do a lot of screenwriting mentorships. I talk to a lot of people um, who are trying to break into the industry, and I work on helping them find ways of making that process sustainable. And that's a very different conversation from finding ways of getting them into the industry as soon as possible because I don't know how to do that. Right? But what I can do is help make the process uh, something that can be maintained until it works. And that's vital, I think. That's a vital shift in mindset when it comes to success in entertainment because Lippy Looney says it's a long haul. And that's true. It's it's not just a question of okay, so let's make a distinction here between art and entertainment first of all because art I find is something I'm sure that the similarities are more prevalent than the differences. But when I think of an artist, I think of somebody who's working on their own, who's doing something because they find it beautiful and spectacular. And the more I talk about it, the more I realize that this probably isn't any different at all. At the end of the day, entertainment is a team sport. And if you're going into this for the self gratification, if you're going into this because you think it's going to make your ideas more prevalent in the world, or if you think it's because you're going to create a new movement or change the way people think or this or that, I find, at least in entertainment, that the fact that there are so many other people involved in that equation is going to consistently thwart that understanding. And this isn't me being hopeless, this is me trying to refocus the way people think about success in entertainment. Because it has to be about the people around you in order for you to take advantage of your greatest assets in this industry, which are always going to be the other people. I don't care how smart you are or what a genius you are. Your greatest assets are always going to be the people around you. So to succeed in entertainment, it has to be your highest priority to empower those people, right? Because otherwise you're not leveraging the resources at your disposal. If you're going into this in order, and even my article on LinkedIn today was about auteur theory and what a crock it is, and it is, right? The biggest geniuses, the biggest, most powerful imaginations who just create movies in their minds typically make one or two good movies. One or two really special movies. The rest, we spend the rest of their careers basically apologizing for in deference to the one or two truly groundbreaking movies that they made. Because we want another taste of their genius, but we're not going to get it. Whereas the people who have the greatest impact are the people who make 10 amazing movies. And those people ultimately are going to be the people who utilize the people around them to their greatest effect. And I'm sure it's the same in art. I'm almost positive it's the same in literature. I've only written my first book, but if you're not writing for the reader, who are you writing for? We can't create art to see ourselves in the world because it's not sustainable. We have to create art to help other people see themselves in the world. And that's a hard lesson to learn, but it's vital. And the more people are involved in the art that we're making, the more people we need to help through our work. Okay? If you're making a film, you need to write something that allows the actors to put themselves into the world. You have to create something that empowers great performances, which means you need to know how great performances work. Because if there's something good in front of the camera, then the DP and the cinematographer, the DP and the director, excuse me, are going to be able to turn around and create something fantastic with that. Whereas if you're overly concerned with the overall film composition, you're actually taking work off the cinematographer's plate. You're taking work off the director's plate. You're not allowing them to do their work because you're trying to get them to realize your vision. And you're going to wind up creating a project where everybody who gets involved subtracts a little bit from the quality of how that vision is realized. Maybe the director gets 98% of the quality that you had in the script. Maybe the actors take an additional 2% apiece. And pretty soon the movie's half as good as you were hoping, and you live your whole life in disappointment. Whereas if you create screenplays, if you write screenplays that empower the actors, that empower the director to do their job to the best of their ability, where the actors' contributions actually compound the quality of the work that you're writing, then it's much less yours. It won't feel as much like it's your vision, but the movie's going to be consistently better every time someone new gets involved. And you can write an excellent screenplay that accomplishes that. That's the job of a screenwriter. The job of a game developer is to put games in the hands of the players that the players can make better. Not to tell them exactly how to play the game, but to give them a game to play that allows them to step in and play their best game and to realize their goals and play the way they want to play and to make the game better in doing so. I think that's probably every piece of art. If you're not writing something that's better when the reader reads it than it is on the page by itself, why are you writing it? What's the point of reaching out and connecting with people? So this creates two basic problems. Okay, the first question that inevitably we have to ask is, so do my interests just not even matter? The things that I love about art, are you telling me it doesn't even matter? No, I'm not. Okay? What I'm saying is, you have to use those things to your advantage to hold your interest. I'm saying they're not the point of the art. They do matter. They're not the point of the art. You have to use those things to your advantage and hold your interest while you go through the excruciating process of creating what you're creating. If you don't write something that holds your own interest, then how are you going to finish it 10 years later? Or 5 years later, if you're lucky, in the case of a film? How are you going to see that process through if it's not something you can obsess over without getting tired of it? But you're using those interests in order to facilitate your longevity and your stamina for the process. You're not using those interests in order to tell other people what's good in the world. Understand? And what that means is you can't make those interests the point. You have to make the contributions of the other people the point, and you have to be willing to let go of how those interests are realized to an extraordinary extent, and an constantly unfolding extent as well. There's no, oh, okay, I did it. I let other people have it, but I get to have X and Y. You're going to have to give up X and Y too. Because you're going to find someone who can do better than what you did, and you have to let them. You have to empower that in how you build the process to begin with. You don't even want to create something that forces people to confront you with its limitations. You want to create something that automatically invites participation on every level. And that's so hard to do if you're hung up on the right way to see something or the right way to do something in any way. So, no, I'm not saying your interests don't matter. They matter a lot because without them, you're never going to finish. But you have to use those as a starting point for yourself and not as a finishing point for the audience. Okay? The other problem that this brings up is the conversation about, well, and this is particularly true in entertainment, but you know what? It's true in publishing too. It's true in anything. I just want to act. I just want to write. What about me, the guy who just wants to act or write, and I don't want to do all the other things that it takes to build the success that you're talking about? What if I don't want to do social media? What if I don't want to market myself? What if I want to do any of those things? I just want to put in the work that I want to put in. Do you have a rich parent? You need someone to hire you just to do that. And it needs to be someone who trusts you before you've proven yourself. It's not the audience, and it's not colleagues that haven't met you yet. So you need nepotism to accomplish that goal. You need someone to hire you at the expense of someone who might be better for the job. And unless you have the privilege it takes to accomplish that, what I can tell you is that I have made lists in the past of boundaries that I have and things that I refuse to do for my career on different unethical grounds, on all kinds of different grounds. And if I showed you a list of all the things that I have sworn up and down I would never do because I hated it, because it didn't work for me, I would have to explain how I came and did every single one of those things under circumstances that left me no other choice to move forward with my career. And that's extremely hard. It's extremely challenging on an emotional level. It's destructive to your identity. And at the same time, it's important to understand that I wouldn't have done these things if there wasn't value in them. And what you have to do is look for the value that's there. You have to be willing to find ways of making these efforts worthwhile for yourself. Right? Even just game design alone. I just want to design games. Do you want to write rule systems or do you want to do world building? Because you're going to need to do both, especially in the beginning. Which one don't you want to do? Which one seems laborious and exhausting to you? You're going to have to do them both. And if you can't find the opportunity in that, this process is going to be devastating. And there's a selflessness that you have to find in that effort. You have to find the willingness to reach other people and give them what they want. Because as we've said before on this stream, it takes two things to succeed in show business. It takes strength in your craft and strength in your community. Part of strengthening your craft means understanding all the different dimensions of what goes into what you do. So doing the work of, if you don't want to shoot a camera but you're making a short by yourself, you might have to learn photography, and that's going to be good for you because you're not just going to learn what a cinematographer does. You're going to learn what a cinematographer knows, and you're going to learn to trust people who've been doing that job a lot longer than you have. Any writer who's had to shoot their own film is going to stop writing camera directions. Guaranteed. Because you know that you're not equipped to pick the shots. You don't want to put them in the script when somebody who's better than you is going to come along and see opportunities that you don't see, and you don't want to show those opportunities out. strength in our community isn't just about marketing. It's what everybody thinks of when I say that. That's not. Marketing is a small, tiny little corner of strength in your community. Marketing doesn't bring people into your community. Marketing tells the people who are already in your community that it's time to buy the game or go to the movies. That's all marketing does. People who are, it's you're turning the house lights on and off so the audience knows it's time to sit down. That's marketing. It doesn't accomplish the goal of making your community larger. It doesn't. You have to make your community larger. And you do that not through networking, which is just a way of asking for work from people who don't know you. And it is limited in its effectiveness. Okay? What you have to do is make yourself necessary to other people because people show up for people who are necessary to them. You have to start volunteering. You have to start putting in the work of finding out who needs what in your community and making yourself available to provide those things as long as you're able and as long as it won't kill you to do it. Okay? As long as it won't physically kill you, and as long as you're able, and as long as you don't have something much more important to do at that exact amount of time, you got to start building in the routine of showing up and helping people accomplish their goals. Because otherwise, no one's going to be there for you. Because no one knows who you are and they don't care. But if you're necessary to them, they do care. And you'll care about them and you'll be supporting their efforts. And that's going to lead to work too. That's going to help you pay the bills. Your community isn't just the people who are interested in what you're doing. Your community is the people who can't live without it. And they don't get that way just because they saw something they liked on the internet or they saw something they liked on the television. They get that way because you put in the work of making yourself part of their lives. And you have to start doing that with your colleagues and you have to start doing it with your audience. And you have to start doing so much of it that the people who aren't doing that work benefit from you being around. And a lot of that is going to be stuff that, you know, isn't acting or isn't writing or isn't directing. It's not a 9 to 5 job. Not in this economy. Not in capitalism. It has to be a life's work or it's not going to happen. If that's worth it to you, then it is absolutely worthwhile to build a career in entertainment. It absolutely is. It's for me it's the only way to live because I need the people in my life and I need the productions, I need a show of some kind. And if if the people around you are less important to you than the idea of creating something, then I'm pretty sure what you have is a hobby. I don't know how else to make it work, but to find the meaning and to find the power and to find the beauty in service. I think that's all I have to say for this Rangers Roost. It's a short one. No chat today, so I'll simply say that we have a game of the rookies starting at 2 p.m. We missed last week. We'll be back this week. I'm excited for that. It's a really fun game. I recommend coming by and checking it out. Buster the Destroyer of Star Citizen fame and Liz Ransdell of My Boyfriend is a Shark fame are the players. They've never played Jump Rangers before we started this campaign a couple sessions ago. You can find all the back sessions on YouTube if you want to watch. We have a good time. I think you will too. And don't be a stranger, Ranger.